I can get a photographer's Instagram post in my Google search. I can also see their TikTok. That first line of your TikTok and Instagram post is searchable, right? So using more SEO strategies, using location strategies if you have a hyper-local market. So like,
how do you convey that you're somebody who is trustworthy? Like, do you have any thoughts behind that?
I do, and there's a lot of psychology behind it too, and what builds trust, right? So social proof is a big one. Humans are herd animals. So if you can provide social proof, that just tells me that like this is safe to trust you. If I see that there are people who are like me that trusted you, invested in you, and you got them results, that automatically builds my trust because I'm a herd animal. Because I want to know that like you've done it with someone else. I'm not your first guinea pig, right? How can we simplify this? I just did this when I had my son. I literally burnt everything to the ground at the end of 2024 and deleted every funnel, every offer. My clients were already gone.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Mind Your Own Business podcast. I'm attorney Jerry Parisi, and with me today is Sarah. Is it Gemmell or Gemmell?
Yeah, Gemmell.
Or Gemmell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. I said it the same way 3 times.
You said it the
Gemmell
exact
or Gemmell
same
or
way
Gemmell?
3 times. Yeah, for sure.
How else would I say it? Gemmell?
I get Gemmell,
Gemmell?
Gemmell.
Gemmell.
Some people add an I, Gemelli.
And what the heck do you do?
What do? I do psychology-led marketing, strategy, consulting. A lot of the focus is in like, where the heck do you even show up? Where to find your people? How to attract the right people into your business? The quality leads and like messaging, right? A lot of people are just using one avenue of marketing. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Psychology led.
Yeah.
Explain it, please.
So psychology led is understanding marketing psychology, understanding buyer behaviors, right? Meeting people. We hear all the time meeting people where they're at, but it's like sometimes it's still disconnected because we don't understand what that means. We need to create marketing that people want and need to see and hear in order to make a buying decision.
Okay.
So we have to understand how people behave when they're making buying decisions, right? Like what gets attention, what keeps attention, what builds trust, what positions you as the expert. All of these things are rooted in psychology. And I actually have a psychology degree. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was an addictions counselor before.
An addictions counselor. Okay. What am I addicted to? Counsel me.
I don't know.
Never mind. Let's move on. Okay. So there's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot of questions.
So meeting people where they're at, buying,
yeah,
positioning, strategy. Okay. Where do you start? Where does a business owner start? I want to get more clients, make more sales, get more leads.
I'm overwhelmed. Stuff.
I'm overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exhausted.
Well, and I feel like because as business owners, we feel like we need to be in all the places all the time.
Yes.
Right. And it's like, you do need an omnipresence. I mean, you can't just rely on one lead source. I mean, that's just not smart. But also trying to show up everywhere is so far the other extreme. Right.
Yeah.
So the unsexy stuff of like going all the way back to market research.
Okay.
Like asking your people, what do you need? What do you want? How do you feel about personal injury lawyers? Like, what do you first think of when you hear personal injury lawyer?
I don't want to ask that.
Right. But it's good to know, right? Because if you understand those answers, and so many business owners are trying to find those answers in other business owners, in coaches, it's like they're not talking to their people. So it's like if you're feeling overwhelmed, you have to like take a step back and you have to look at where am I showing up strategically? Like where am I really spending time, effort, and money for marketing? And is it reaching the right people? If I'm like, great example, Twitch. Twitch is, have you heard of Twitch?
Is that the video game thing?
Yeah, it's like a video game streaming.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
So it's video game streaming, but it does a couple other things. It's a live streaming platform.
Okay.
It's a primarily male audience on Twitch. I work a lot with online female business owners. So why would I show up on Twitch? If someone told me they made $1 million on Twitch and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get popular on Twitch. It's like none of my people are there. Right? Or you're spending all this time trying to figure out Facebook, but your people are on TikTok, or, you know, you're totally ignoring Pinterest, or you don't have an email list, right? Or you haven't even looked at your SEO because your people are Googling for an answer. You know, that's a lot of the local businesses. Roofers, concrete guys, lawyers, they're going to search personal injury lawyer near me. Right? Plumber near me. So spending time, energy, and money on SEO and a Google presence, and now AI searchability too is a thing, is just smart. Where are my people hanging out? What do they need to see and hear from me in order to make a buying decision?
Okay. So there's also a lot to unpack there.
For sure.
So, I mean, how do you figure out where your clients are?
Asking them.
Asking your past clients.
Yeah, you can ask your past clients. You can ask your ideal audience. And this is actually something I found really, really
How do you know
helpful.
who your ideal audience is?
I was going to say, so this is what I found really helpful is actually starting with who my ideal clients were not.
Oh.
I started because when you first start in business, you take everyone, right? And you're inevitably going to end up with someone where you're like, listen, you're a beautiful person. Please never, ever be a client of mine ever again, right? Like, this was just not it. So like, if you can identify who your ideal clients are not and start writing out the characteristics that make them not ideal. And it has nothing to do with budget, right? Because they paid you, but working with them was a nightmare. Why?
Yeah.
So you can start with who your ideal clients are not. And then you can think, I always have my clients like, I want you to think of the person who you loved working with. Who was the person that was just, you loved working with them. They were loyal. They got great transformation. And then write out everything about them, copy and paste. And like, don't overcomplicate it. Simplify it. Where did they find you? Go like write down every single step. They met me at a networking. And then they followed me on Instagram. I saw them watching my stories. Then they saw this post. And from that post, they downloaded this freebie or they booked this consult over here. Or they got this estimate over here. And then I sold them. Okay, cool. Copy and paste, rinse and repeat.
So a lot of data, collecting data and figuring out what you can extract from that data to inform your next strategic marketing move.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the part that's not sexy. Everyone's like, data, Like send me the trending audio on Instagram that's going to like set me off, right? And I'm like, that's not my realm.
You mean the one video that everybody else is dancing to? I can't just pick that up and get a million clients from that?
But not unless you know how to use it.
Oh.
Right? Like you can download templates are like a popular thing. I'm sure you've like legal templates or email marketing templates or like you can download a template for anything. If you don't know how to fill it in, it's a complete waste.
Yeah.
But you can't outsource that decision-making. So many business owners are looking to outsource the decision-making. And it's like, you're the business owner. Even if you hire a team, you need to be the visionary and you need to relay to the team, like, this is where we're going to market. This is what we're going to say. This is who we're trying to reach. You can't outsource that decision-making.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where you start. What about the creative? How do you get from figuring out where your clients are to making the business decision, what creative, what copy to put out there?
Yeah. So not all marketing is content-based. A lot of it is, right? But like when you have the content-based marketing, I do an anchor content method. So I do it and all my clients do it. You start with one long form piece of content that has a longer shelf life. And you figure out like, buyer behavior changes. There's some buyers that want to just skim bullet points. And then there's other buyers that like want to watch a full comprehensive 45-minute video of you explaining every single little detail, right? You can kind of meet them where they're at, but you have to think about how do you best show up? I write like an SAT prep essay. Like I write super academic. That's not my personality. Like it just doesn't convey my energy or my personality. So even though I still do written copy, I focus my marketing first on video and audio.
Okay.
Right? Because I know I translate better if people can hear me.
Yeah.
So you start long form, you start with what you're good at, and then you repurpose down.
What are some ideas for the long form format?
Yeah.
Content? I mean, obviously there's different platforms, you know, what works on Facebook's not going to work on Instagram versus TikTok versus mostly talking about social media.
Yeah.
As a business owner that wants to do more video or do more online content, where do I go?
Yeah. A lot. See, that's the issue right now is we're seeing everyone wants to start with like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram.
Yeah.
And what happens is you end up spending like 45 minutes and 100 different takes on one reel. And it gets like 3 unfollows and 7 likes from your mom and your aunt and your sisters, right? Like you're starting kind of backwards where these short form platforms should not be the primary focus. So your long form platforms would be, your blog would be like a long form written. Okay. Pinterest is a great spinoff of that because Pinterest just sends them to your blog, right? So you're creating the blog and then just creating the pin out of it. Podcasting, long form content. YouTube is long form content. What's another one? Email marketing. Email marketing and LinkedIn newsletters are also long form.
Tell me about email marketing. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, email marketing is a little
Is that still a thing or is that gone
it is.
by the side?
It's changed a lot.
Okay.
It's changed a lot. Like providers, so Gmail, Yahoo, if you're still like a millennial who has an AOL, they're all changing their spam filters. So it is becoming harder to like, you have to really keep track of your deliverability and your DNS records. Open rates, they still matter, but they're a little tricky because sometimes if people have their preview on, it'll mark it as opened even though they didn't open it. So it's kind of a skewed number now. So you track click rates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're in the email looking at your newsletter and then they click on a link that takes them to your website or a video or something.
Yeah. Could be anywhere.
That's how you, I guess, get more traction with email marketing.
Yeah. So the more people that click on your emails, the more that the email provider is saying, cool, the people who are reading this are clicking, which means they must trust this person, right? If they're opening it and clicking, this person must be a real person that's trustworthy. So we'll bump them up in the deliverability. You're less likely to end up in spam.
Okay.
Right? Email marketing is a really great tool to nurture people that are already in your audience. You're not going to discover new people with your email list, right? But you can stay in front of them. It's a great way. Like if you do a newsletter, that's easy, piece of cake. But a lot of people have like email automations too. So if I give you a free estimate to lay concrete in your driveway, I can have an email automation on the back end to say like, if you didn't open the invoice, reminder email. If you opened it, but you didn't pay it, different reminder email. If you opened it and you paid it, you get your onboarding email. There's ways to now automate admin and sales and follow-ups and things like that through email.
Okay. Is that all difficult to do? Does somebody need to hire a marketer to do that, or can the business owner?
You can DIY it. I mean, a lot of these platforms, if you're willing to invest the time, you can DIY it. And if you start with like a simple funnel, if you want to go super complex with a bunch of segmenting and tags and like all these like weirdo things, then yeah, you should probably just hire someone. If you don't have the time to invest, just pay someone.
I like weirdo stuff.
Yeah. Like emails can either like, it can be like email 1, wait 3 days, email 2, wait a week, email 3. That's like a really simple funnel. Anyone could set that up. But when you start segmenting based on behavior, did they open it? Did they click it? Did they read it? Did they not? Did they buy? Did they not? Now it starts to become this like spider web that when you look at it, it kind of makes you like a little dizzy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What are some other, I guess, trending marketing, I guess, platforms, or what's coming up? What's next?
TikTok is changing a lot.
Okay.
So we'll kind of see how that goes. I actually just talked to someone yesterday who hired us to do their social media, and she's already seeing the shift in TikTok. She used to book 10 consults a week and primarily using
what sort
TikTok.
Of industry are we talking?
Medicine.
Okay.
So she was on TikTok, on average 10 consults a week, mostly from TikTok. That has completely dried up. Everything she was doing, she's been doing the same thing, right? Copy, rinse, repeat. Now it's not working.
Yeah.
So the algorithm on TikTok is changing. Like the platform is shifting. So we'll kind of see where that is going. Threads is really popular right now. So Threads
Instagram's thing.
It's like a Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah. But the nice thing is it's written. So you don't have to spend the time doing graphics and videos and all these things. So it's easier to pump them out. And you only need to do like one-liners. There's no crazy strategy. It's very community-based. It's visibility to new audiences. Email is still very relevant, but I love text marketing to like complement the email marketing. So we know that emails are crazy and people don't look at them and spam filters and all the things, but you could text them. And you can say, hey, did you see the email we just sent you? Like, hey, don't forget your invoice isn't paid, or hey, whatever. As long as they opt in, totally legal.
Okay.
And you can set it up automated just like your emails.
So they have to opt in.
They opt
in order
in,
to be able to text them.
They have to give you consent, or they have to text a keyword.
Okay.
To say subscribe me.
Cool.
Yeah.
What else? I know we talked about branding.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different thoughts about branding.
Yeah.
What's your, I guess, overall strategy with a brand? How do you build a brand?
Such a to me, it's aloof too. It's like, it's not this tangible thing, right? Like if by definition, a brand is how you make people feel and how people remember you.
Okay.
Right?
Perfect.
Right.
So let's start there.
And I have 2 markets that I serve, like the online female entrepreneurs and like the local businesses. And they're actually very different approaches to branding, because the female entrepreneurs over here are very into like color schemes and Canva fonts and mood boards and like very aesthetic when it comes to the brand, where sometimes I'm even like, like we're spending too much time over there.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is that what their clients care about and want, or is that just what they want their business to look like?
It's one of those things. This kind of goes back to mindset, where we have all this productive, busy work, right? I can get in Canva and I can play around in Canva for 3 days, creating graphics that look great. But is investing 3 days of my time for these graphics really the best use of my time? Right? I can spend a whole week building a new website, but I don't plan any strategy for actually driving traffic to the website. The productive, busy work piece, where it's like the aesthetics, yes, do matter. I mean, if you're, this is a great example. I opened up someone's website. This was maybe about 5 years ago. And she sends me her website. I open it up and it literally looked like a 2005 Microsoft Word document. That to me is not great. Like,
Why?
Not a great start. Absolutely not. An automatic no. And it's like, it's just not, it's not at the level of like, oh yeah, I'm going to pay you something with a comma in it, right? So aesthetics do matter, but not so far into it where that's where you spend a majority of your time, unless you are a creative, a designer, right? Like video and photography. Yeah, you probably have to spend a little bit more time on your video and your photos because that's what you're selling.
Right.
If you're a brand designer, then yes, your designs need to be on point all the time. Otherwise, a lot of us could cut our time by 75% of what we do on the aesthetic side, and it would be fine.
Okay. If branding is, by definition, what I want that person to feel when they think about my business, how do I come up with a strategy for that? Like, how do I know, like as an attorney, how do I decide what I want that person to feel?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing is like in 5 adjectives. I ask people this when I onboard them, and I actually just onboarded a realtor, and she's a great realtor, like top producing realtor in Georgia. And I said, what are the 5 adjectives that describe your brand? And she literally sent me back. She's like, I don't know what the fuck that means. I was like, great, awesome. Like now we know where we can start. And it's like, you can literally just start with 5 adjectives of how would you describe, if you're a personal brand, then it is related to you. So like I am a personal brand. It's very much how people remember me.
Okay.
Where like if you build a law firm, say you have like 3 attorneys under you, it doesn't become so much about Jerry anymore. Now it's how do I want people to remember the law firm?
Okay.
And those 5 adjectives and branding would be very different than how you would brand yourself if you decided to become like an attorney coach.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So a lot of the online coaches, the gurus, Gary Vaynerchuk's and stuff like that are talking about building your personal brand. Like what you just mentioned, versus building my business brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What do you think is best?
For 99% of us, personal brand.
Okay.
Right. And it's not because I think this is where the confusion happens is it's not to say that you're going to become like an influencer, right? It's not to say that you're going to become this full-time content creator, but there's actually a trending phrase right now, the trust recession. Have you heard of that?
I have not heard of that one.
So there's this thing online, the trust recession. So I don't know if you heard what Leah said before we started, but
I don't listen to what Leah says.
Exactly. So I'll tell you. In 2020, she was selling like almost 5 figures a month in makeup, right? That's what happened in 2020 is we saw this like huge surge in people just buying. Like they were just buying anything and everything.
Well, you got the COVID stimulus check.
Exactly.
Some cash to burn.
I don't know where they were getting stimulated because I got like $500. I was like, great. A quarter of my rent. Awesome. But no, in 2020, people were just buying because there was really no experience with there was this major surge of coaching and MLMs and product-based businesses and at-home businesses. Well, now what has happened in the last 6 years since COVID happened is people made a lot of investments into people and businesses and products that were a load of shit. But it was like they bought into these things and they didn't deliver on their promise. They're unregulated industries. So now what people are starting to think is happening is that buyers are holding onto the purse string. Oh, well, people just aren't buying like they used to. They're still spending money, to be very clear, right? They're still spending money. That's not the issue. They're being more discerning with who they spend their money with. That's where this idea of the trust recession came in, right? Because now, yeah, I'm an attorney and I need a business coach. But I am probably going to, in 2020, what would have taken me 6 days is now going to take me 6 months before I find someone that I trust enough.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a lot more research. I'm going to ask a lot more questions because in 2020, I hired a coach that took $20,000 for me. And I think I learned how to post an Instagram story, like awesome. So people now are just becoming more discerning where the personal brand allows you to cut the sales cycle and it allows for you to stand out in the market because people associate you and they trust you.
Okay.
Right? So like personal injury, you guys are known for you and Leah. Personal injury is easier to remember. So it's kind of a bad example, but it's like at the end of the day, they probably know 3 or 4 personal injury attorneys. If someone they know slips and falls right now, who are they going to call? The psychology says it's the person that they trust the most and that they see the most.
So the old adage, know, like, and trust is even more important today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what do you think made or created that shift as a psychology major?
Yeah, well, definitely this like poor investment decisions,
Okay.
right? Like that played a huge role in it. But I think now it's also social media. It's this rise of social media is we really just want to feel like we know who we're spending money with. And a lot of people they would rather support small businesses and people that they know, like, and trust.
Okay.
Right?
Rather than a big brand or a big firm that the firm is the brand.
Right. And like,
is that right?
Yeah. And like a lot of times what happens is the bigger the name, this is totally my opinion. There's no science behind this. But a lot of times what we see is the bigger the name, the fancier the marketing, the worse the delivery and the customer service is on the back end. Because they're spending all their effort in marketing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, okay, cool. And now people are like, I would rather just go with someone I know.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of this is coming from. But a big mistake I'm seeing local business owners make is the owner is not showing up online. They're doing like graphics or they're letting their team do it or they're not showing up online at all. So it's like really your only presence is your logo and your Google profile, if you have one. Most people do. And then like if you show up to networking events. And networking events are great, but what happens in between that time? They need to still see you in between seeing you at networking.
There's no science behind this statement either. But
Okay,
I think
great.
a lot of what you just described is a result of people, a lot of the gurus teaching people how to build a sellable business, an asset that they can step away from and ultimately exit from.
Yeah.
Because if you're then the brand, and if you step away, the buyer is not going to have that same tangible asset.
Yeah. And it
right?
does make it tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make it tricky. So if you're talking about like a very traditional exit plan
Yeah.
and you do want to eventually sell it, the personal brand does create, I don't want to say it's a problem, but it is like an obstacle in eventually selling, but there are ways around it, right? And if you can figure out the happy middle, but there's also the businesses that don't market with a personal brand.
Right.
Like Planet Fitness doesn't have a personal brand, and that's totally okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's actually a girl that recently I kind of came into her orbit. She built a Pilates studio and she started off like one studio, built up a whole chain, like franchised it, went public with it, had a traditional exit for like a buku amount of money. She has a personal brand, yes, but that business had its own brand and didn't rely on her.
So that sounds like that's the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Where you can have a personal brand, use that to build your business, but the business not being necessarily tied to your personal brand in case you want to do that, sell it.
Yeah, and you just have to decide what your business model is.
But that's a fine line to walk, it sounds like. And
Can be.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you decide what your business model is and what your plan is, and then you can kind of fit it into that. Because a lot of people are just doing like, what works for right now? What should I do today? I'm going to create an Instagram post right now. It's like, okay, great. But what is this Instagram presence going to do for the company over the next 5 years? So if you're talking about a traditional exit plan in 7 years, maybe we don't spend all this time just building an Instagram presence. Maybe we focus on paid ads and SEO and a really solid website and this really great funnel that you can be removed from. Like if you are so heavy into the day-to-day marketing and sales and lead generation and all these things, let's focus there because regardless of the personal brand, you couldn't be removed from it anyway.
What do you say to business owners who, they're small business owners, they may be struggling, they need clients yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? What's the best strategy for them to get quick results?
The best strategy is to just talk to people, right? And I kind of go back to what's not sexy, but social media is a long game. Email marketing is a long game. All the tech is great, but it's not going to get you money right now. Building a brand new website isn't going to get you clients because you still have to go find people to send to the website.
Yeah.
So go talk to your people. Go talk to your existing clients, your existing customers. Go talk to your referral partners. Go ask for a market research interview. Start doing outreach. Right? It doesn't necessarily have to be cold outreach where you're door knocking on people's private homes at dinner time, but you can start doing an outreach strategy to just say, hey, like this is who I am. This is what I do. Do you know someone? I get these messages all the time. Some of them are great. Some of them aren't. But it's like the thing that is the most uncomfortable is probably going to get you the results the quickest. And it's the number one thing we avoid. Like get yourself out into the community, go to networking events virtually and in person, figure out, like we talked about, where your people are, who your people are, right? Are your people at the chamber? Are they at BNI? Or are they on Zoom at, where are they? And start showing up there. The social media and the tech and the websites and the graphics, those are all great, but they're not going to fix your right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You said social media is a long game.
Yeah.
That's the first time I think I've heard that statement.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Because you think more, or at least I do, about social media being right now, right? Like it's consumable right now. And then you flip, unless you save that video, it's gone.
Yep.
Right. But you're saying no, that the strategy should be long-term play. Can you explain that a little bit more? So
it's a short form platform, right? Yeah. So it's like I can create this and you're probably going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to scroll pretty quick, right? Like if we're this podcast, right? People know if they are watching a YouTube video, it's going to be 20, 30 minutes and it's nothing. But I'm not watching a 20-minute video on Instagram or TikTok. Right. So it is a short form platform, but it takes time to build an audience there.
Gotcha.
And the algorithms, you can love it, you can hate it. It's just part of the game, right? But it's like it takes time to consistently put out content, consistently brand yourself, consistently let people know who you are, what you do, why they should pay you. And you have to remember that a very small percentage of your following actually sees each individual piece of content. So that's why it takes such a longer time from the time they first discover you to the time they buy. If you're only relying on social media, you now have to rely on the algorithm, and it's going to take weeks and months of them seeing your content if the content is saying the right thing. If it's just an AI generated image of you in your office with your cat and your coffee mug, it's cute and it's fun, but it's not helping them make a buying decision. Right. So it's actually making it even longer. Your sales cycle is really long if you're just relying on social media. So that's why I say it's a long game, right? It takes time to build the audience. It takes time for people to understand what you do and make that decision and see these different things, where if you just reached out, if I just sent you a message and I was like, hey, I do marketing and I work a lot with attorneys, and say Leah wasn't here. And you'd be like, oh my God, I hate my social media. Yes, thank you so much. Great, awesome. Do you want to talk about it? Versus if I just start posting on Instagram, how long would it take for you to just see my post if we don't already know each other?
Good point.
So, right. And it depends on the platform too. Instagram's not really a visibility platform anymore. It's not a way really for people to discover you. It's more of a way for you to nurture people, unless you are some kind of like major audience creator, which a lot of us aren't. Right. Okay. So I personally, I don't use Instagram as a way for people to discover me. I speak and I go to networking events and I send people to Instagram. And that's where they can see how to work with me. They can learn more about me. They can see me, dancing to get on stage in Arizona last week. They can hear me talk and start with a freebie or book a call, whatever they want to do. Right? But TikTok is primarily a visibility platform. Most of what you put out on TikTok is going to go to new audiences. So if you understand the difference in why you show up in each platform, it can also shorten the sales cycle.
That's really interesting. And I like the way you just explained that, because nobody's explained that to me like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, okay, so I hesitate sometimes to invest all this in the short form social media stuff because it's like you don't own the asset, right? And the algorithm can change immediately. So it's like everything can go away like that as soon as they change the whatever code.
Yep.
But if you think about it as a nurturing platform and not the visibility platform, that's a mindset shift that I need to make in order to, use those tools effectively.
Yeah. Like treat your Instagram page like a second website.
Okay.
Like utilize the highlights, utilize the pin posts, make sure your bio is really optimized and really clear. Start using keywords in the first sentence of your post because now Instagram is becoming searchable. TikTok is kind of more searchable. When you go to Google and say I search like photographer near me, I can get a photographer's Instagram post in my Google search. I can also see their TikTok. That first line of your TikTok and Instagram post is searchable. Right? So using more SEO strategies, using location strategies if you have a hyper local market. So like here in Jefferson, right? Like you serve people in and near Jefferson. You don't need to be talking to people in California. Right? So using location strategies for a business model like that is really smart. But if you utilize the highlights and the pin posts, like all the networking that you guys do, now they come to that Instagram page and they can scroll through your highlights and your pin posts really easily. Like, here's what we do. Here's how we got started. Here's how you can work with us. Or like, if you get bit by a dog, here's what to do, like right here.
Okay. So you're saying the first line of your Instagram affects your SEO or feeds into the
post.
SEO?
Each individual post. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. What else do we need to know about? Are there any other social media platforms that the kids are using or that old people are using that maybe us?
There's a bunch.
I call myself a geriatric millennial.
I'm probably not very far off. Although I think I'm like somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
I don't know. Millennial enough, like I wanted a beeper when I was a kid. That's what I really wanted when I was a kid was a beeper.
Okay.
So like I'm millennial enough.
Yeah. Fair. But what are the other ones besides, are there any other Twitches out there that I don't know of?
Yeah. So Reddit is becoming really popular. Reddit's a great one. It's not really a content platform. It's like a conversational platform.
Yeah, like questions and answers.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Go find your niche, go find your industry, go find where your people are going to Reddit and asking questions and just join the conversation. That same approach works on threads and Facebook groups. Facebook groups are still a gold mine.
Yeah.
Facebook is a platform. It's not super great right now. We had this conversation last night where Facebook is starting to pay people to post content because it's just not a content creation platform right now. But Facebook groups are still hot as ever.
Yeah.
Like I make so much money on Facebook groups. It's a hill I will die on. Facebook groups, threads, and Reddit are all just like intentionally scroll, join the conversation, add value, get people that way. Snapchat is still a thing.
Okay.
People are using Snapchat for now. You have to have a very specific audience. Make sure you know who you're talking to. Because like for me, I wouldn't spend a minute on Snapchat for my business. Yeah. But there's a lot of people who actually do really well on Snapchat. Twitter, we're not seeing a whole lot of, TikTok, Pinterest is still really great. Blogging is not social media, but it's still really great. Podcasting, if you don't want to have your own, get on someone else's. Social media, I think I might have hit all of them.
YouTube Shorts, is that a good one?
Oh, YouTube. Yeah. YouTube Shorts is great.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like there's another one I'm missing. Oh, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
It's a love-hate. It's a love-hate. Yeah, for sure. I feel like I want
Anybody
to
watching this on LinkedIn right now, comment down below. You hate it as well? I hate it.
And find me somewhere else. Like I have a profile, but find me somewhere else.
Hit me up in real life.
I would say like 90% of who I talk to right now in like clients, sales calls, whatever, they want to be on LinkedIn, but there's such a barrier to LinkedIn where it's like, I know I should, but like,
it's all corporate, like pat myself on the back BS.
It's shifting. It's shifting a lot to where it's a lot more content creation. It's just still, I think it's such a different platform where you're so used to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and then you get on LinkedIn and you're like, what do I do with my hands? Like, what do I do?
Congratulate me on 5 years.
Yeah. And like
XYZ law firm.
Can I say fuck on LinkedIn? I don't know. I don't have the answer for you. I'm pretty sure you can. But LinkedIn is great. Like I have a lot of clients who want to do corporate speaking. They have to be on LinkedIn. We just have a different approach for how we show up there.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, it's a love-hate. And you have to understand, like, some people say newsletters do really well for them, and other people, their newsletters are completely dead, even though they have a great platform there. So you really just have to test the different features of LinkedIn to see what your audience is hitting on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we talked about I bring it back to what you mentioned is similar. The know, like, and trust. People will buy from you if they know, like, and trust you.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about know, that's sort of the visibility aspect of it. The like is, how do you build the trust through any of these things where you're not seeing somebody in person?
Yeah.
How do you convey that you're somebody who is trustworthy? Like, do you have any thoughts behind that?
I do. And there's a lot of psychology behind it too, and what builds trust, right? So social proof is a big one. Humans are herd animals. So if you can provide social proof, that just tells me that, like, this is safe to trust you. If I see that there are people who are like me that trusted you, invested in you, and you got them results, that automatically builds my trust because I'm a herd animal, because I want to know that, like, you've done it with someone else. I'm not your first guinea pig. Right? Same thing with, like, even engagement on social media. People just don't want to be the first one, like, they just want to see other people doing it. So there is, like, the social proof side of things where that could be testimonials. It could be case studies. It could be all these things. The other side of trust is knowing that you're truly the expert. Like, people want to know that you're an authority in the space and that you actually know what you're talking about. Because now, I mean, in the age of social media and the age of coaching, there's a lot of people who are unfortunately not qualified to be charging for what they charge for, right? So now, in order for me to trust you, I just want to know that, like, you know what you're doing. How can you convey that? It's the educational type of content. It's like your thought leadership, right? Now, if you're, like, pouring concrete, it's probably not going to be a whole lot of thought leadership, right? But, like, for the local trades guys and probably even attorneys, this could be argued, is, like, they literally just want to trust you that you're not going to take their money and run.
Okay.
That's the trust piece, right? They don't need to trust that you're this, like, super educated Harvard level cement layer. They just want to know that you're going to show up, do the work, not steal their money, and not leave their house a mess.
Do what you said you're going to do.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like, and how can you show that online? You have to find different ways to show that. You could even show, like, behind the scenes content. Obviously, as, like, an attorney, there's, HIPAA regulations and things like that, and privacy things. Yeah. But how can you show off different parts of the process to bring people along with you to show them the authority, that authority positioning?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And that's where sort of some of the struggle comes in, because there's all these, traditionally the personal injury attorneys were, this is how much money we got for this client, right?
Yep.
And
yep.
Or with a little disclaimer, results not typical, like your case will vary, stuff like that.
And it's in, like, 0.5 font, so you don't actually ever see that part.
But it's always been like, we make it rain and how much money you're going to make. But how do you show that, like, no, I actually know what I'm talking about, and I'm not just like some scumbag who's going to, force you into a settlement agreement that's not in your best interest.
Yeah. Well, that's where, so education, right? Because a lot of people wouldn't even know half the stuff you just said, where it's like, what do you mean it's not in my best interest to get paid? Like, what does that even mean? What does that look like? Right? But being able to break the pattern of what they're seeing in your industry, right? So it's like, here's my competitors, here's my industry. Everyone's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
What stands out psychologically is what breaks the pattern. Right? So it could literally be like a visual break in the pattern. So you might see, like, you're scrolling, and then all of a sudden someone comes in from out of camera and they, like, jump into the camera. It's a visual break in the pattern of you scrolling. But the psychological break in pattern where you're saying, like, hey, I know this is what the industry norm is for personal injury lawyers, but this is how we do it different, right? Is like, oh, not every settlement is good. Not every settlement is great, right? Like, here's the reality behind a $1 million settlement. If you said, yeah, we made this client $1 million, but here's the breakdown on the back end. The settlement was this much. They paid this much. The taxes were this much, and this is how much they went home with. And this is a much more accurate depiction of what it looks like, right? I could surely show you the client I made $60 million for, but that's not the norm. And now you're coming at it from a different angle. That break in the pattern is saying, wow, like, how honest, That honesty could be the break in the pattern.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Could that be?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Even like, I work a lot with fitness coaches. The break in the pattern is like, how sick are we of hearing like, you don't have a motivation problem, you have a discipline problem. Barf. Like, okay.
No, I've got a fat tummy problem.
Right. And it's like,
help me lose it.
Everyone in the fitness space is saying the same thing for the most part, right? Yeah. So if you come in as a fitness coach and you're like, hey, what they say about discipline is actually a load of shit, and here's what's happening in your brain. Or here's, everyone tells you to drink more water and walk outside like it's going to completely change your life. Here's the reality of that, and it's like, that's a break in pattern, and it also makes them feel safer. If you're coming at your audience for who they are, and you're coming at them saying, well, you have a discipline problem. And if you really wanted it, you would this. And, if you really wanted to get paid, you'd come to me and da-da-da. And that's what you get for going to the wrong lawyer.
Yeah.
They're just going to get defensive. You're not going to sell them anything because you're coming at who they are. But if you come at them and say, hey, listen, we all make mistakes. And I know you told me no the first time, but now I'll take care of you this time.
I want to pull something out that you just said for a minute. You mentioned the drink H2O. Could you say that one more time?
Water.
Water
is the only correct way to pronounce WATR.
And just to let everybody know, we're both from the Philadelphia area. Mm-hmm. Grew up. Go Birds.
Yeah.
But you've been here in Georgia for how long?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got me beat.
Like 24 years.
I was going to say, you have me beat by a lot. So wait, you don't say water. Have they beat it out of you?
My children make fun of me when I slip and say water. They're like, what is that? That's not a thing. And I'm like, oh, you sweet summer child. You have no idea what life is like in the harsh north.
No. And I feel like I'm teaching my kid to talk now where I say, like, do you want a glass of water? And I'm like, should I teach him water? Maybe.
I've trained myself to say water. And my kids,
see, it just sounds wrong.
Yeah.
It's water, water ice, watermelon.
Whatever.
The only correct way.
What do you tell people that want to start a business similar to yours, like a marketing company, marketing, branding business? How do they get started? What do they need to know?
This actually can be applied to people who are in business or starting a business, but you have to know what gap in the market you fill, right? Like you can't just do something because you're good at it or because you're passionate about it. You have to create an offer that fills a need in the market. There has to be a need for it, and there has to be people who want to buy it, right? And it's like, if you can figure out the happy middle of what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and make it fit into the gap in the market, create the offer based on what people need and based on what they want, right? What's missing in that industry and how can you fill that? That's your easiest way to success. So when you're in that first phase of like, what do we offer, right? What are we doing? That's going to help you figure out like how you're different. Who's the audience for this offer, right? And then it's like, start really simple. Even for those of us who have been in business for a long time, sometimes we really just need to go back to like, okay, what worked before, right? How can we simplify this? I just did this when I had my son. I literally burnt everything to the ground at the end of 2024 and deleted every funnel, every offer. My clients were already gone because I was on maternity leave, right? So literally burned it all to the ground and went back to like, okay, what am I good at? What's the gap? Started back on my market research, got my finger on the pulse of like, okay, what are people really frustrated about in the marketing space? Because I know I'm good at marketing. I know that's what people need, but everyone does marketing. So what's the need? Where's the gap? And I found it. Okay, cool. So now I found the gap. How do I create that first offer? And then from that first offer, sold it out, created the second offer, sold that one out, and then created the next offer, all based on market research, all based on what my people were telling me they were willing to pay for. Right? And now that third offer has actually become my like primary signature program for online business owners, online female entrepreneurs.
What is that? Can you tell us about that?
It's like a group consulting.
Okay.
So the gap in the market was there's this very underserved group of entrepreneurs online who are like, we're not new. We've been in the game for a little while, but we don't need more coaching. We don't need more templates. We don't need more courses. We just need implementation support. But their budget is much different because unlike traditional businesses, they don't have like traditional funding. They're usually using their own cash flow, which some accountants might have a stroke over, but it's just the reality, right? For most online entrepreneurs. So how can we create a more ongoing, sustainable container? And I actually did what every one of my peers told me not to do. When literally every single one of my peers, especially the ones who are moms, because I was a first-time mom, they were like, don't do that. Like, you won't be able to sustain it when you have a kid. And I'm like, I'm going to do it anyway. I think I'm going to do it anyway, because I'm really good at knowing what I'm good at, what I'm not good at.
Okay.
Why would I build a deliverable around something I'm not good at? That's stupid. Because then my customer service is going to be trash. My client experience is going to be trash, which means my retention is going to be trash. And I don't want to be selling to new people all the time. I want loyal clients who come back and then bring in new people. That's just smart business, right? So if I know that I'm really good, if my clients can just get me on Zoom, ask me whatever they need, great, I'll see you next time. And we're doing multiple Zooms throughout the week, which is where my peers were telling me no. They're like, that's too much. My clients love it.
Yeah.
Our retention rate's over 80%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's all because I just went back to my people and said, like, what do you need? What's the next step look like? Let's build it together. And I also have a lot of confidence where I can convey that confidence in other people. I've always been told I'm really good at like selling an idea, right? I'm really good at like kind of bringing you along this journey with me. So I don't need to have crazy testimonials of this program that I've never run before, because I can build trust in other ways. And I can say, hey, let's like do this together. And then once we get it up off the ground, now I have testimonials that I can share and, you know, all these things. And those founding clients of this program, I have, I would say 9 out of 10 of them are still with me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How can people reach you if they want to work with you?
I love Instagram.
Instagram.
I love Instagram. It's just my name. It's super easy. It's Sarah Gemmell. Or honestly, from Instagram, you can find any of my other contact information.
How do they spell Sarah Gemmell?
Only right way to spell Sarah is with an H. And then Gemmell is Gemmell.
Okay. Any other platforms that you're on out there?
I'm on a lot of them, yeah. It's pretty much Sarah Gemmell actually across. So talk about branding, right? Like being really consistent and naming things. Like it's just Sarah Gemmell. Sometimes there's an underscore after Gemmell because apparently there's a few of us. But other than that, it's just Sarah Gemmell. TikTok, Facebook, Threads, Instagram. I have a great website. What else do I do? We're working on my SEO. You can Google me probably.
Google me, B.
Yeah.
So when you want people to think about Sarah Gemmell, what do you hope that they think? Like, what do you hope pops into their mind? What's your brand?
So my branding is really like, I would rather be seen as informal in the name of authenticity. Like, you know that what you see on this podcast is exactly what you're going to get when you meet me in real life.
And that's pretty accurate.
Oh, 100% of the time. Yeah. Like what you see on Instagram is going to be exactly what you get when you meet me in real life. And like when you're my client, like I take care of my people. And it's like, I'd rather give up fancy systems and fancy whatever to spend more time with my people. And I'm just really self-aware, right? So I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not. But authenticity is really important to me. And if I don't know something, I'm not going to pretend like I do. Right. And
Thank
like,
you for that.
Yeah, of course. And that in the marketing space is really important.
Yes, because so many marketers out there are good at marketing themselves, but may not know how to help you grow your business.
Yeah. And another important piece of the brand that I've been building is like this authenticity piece. And like people really feel like they know me, so that like you really feel like you're talking to a friend. Like I'm very good at building rapport with people very quickly. My life depended on it when I worked in Camden, right? Like literally my life depended on it. I needed those.
You're a bit of a hostage.
You know, like I needed my clients to like me so that they didn't want to jump me outside in the parking lot, which only happened a couple times. And in that is like, you can come and like, I'm going to take care of you and I'm going to help you, but I'm also not a coach. I'm not going to just tell you, well, this is what worked for me. The really important part of the brand is that like, I'm going to help you figure out how it works for your business model.
Mm-hmm.
Because how your business model operates and how your brain operates is not the same as my other clients. I have clients that tell me no all the time. I'm like, well, what? We could do this, this, and this. They're like, absolutely not. I'm like, great. Awesome. Option B.
How do you take that when people tell you no like that?
I love it.
Okay.
No, I love it because I don't want you to yes me to death and then you don't do it and then you don't see results. And then it's like, well, great. What are we doing? And then in 6 months, you're going to be like, I spent all this money. Nothing's happening because nothing's happening. And then now I'm just going to cancel, move on somewhere else, right? I would rather you tell me, no, that doesn't work for my lifestyle, my brain, whatever. Like I have a client, she tells me no on a regular basis. Love her. She's a fitness coach. She's in her 50s and she's moving. And we're planning a launch in the middle of her move. So it's like, we know we're not doing a webinar. We know we're not doing like X, Y, and Z because that doesn't fit the lifestyle of her moving across the country. So how can we find alternatives to still actively sell? But the things that her and I are talking about wouldn't make any sense for my other client who's actually on the same call. And they learn a lot from each other. They're in the same space, occupying the same time slot. But how we do things is very much based on like what's going to work for your people and your business model. And that's really important in today's world because a lot of marketers saw success on their own. And then they're like, well, here's how I did it. Post on Instagram 4 times a day. Great. In 2005, that worked really well. And you probably have 100,000 followers. But I could post 5 times a day today and nothing would change from posting 3 times a week.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, it's being able to really make it work for someone else more than just saying, well, here's what worked for me.
Right.
You know?
So how do you figure that out? Do you do a deep dive into what that person is about and stuff like that? Or how do you work with your clients?
I mean, that's where a lot of the psychology comes in, right? So I understand buyer behavior and marketing psychology. So I'm helping people understand how can we reach your people? We need to get their attention and keep their attention. We need to build the know, like, trust. We need to nurture them and we need to get them to make a buying decision and to actually move through the pipeline, right? How do we do that? So if you're saying, well, my people are on Instagram, I love creating content on Instagram and I know this is where I'm going to nurture my people. Great. Then we need to look at the Instagram content and like I can pick out like, great, unclear here, no CTA here, like dun, dun, dun. Great, fix it, move on. Right? If it's like we spent all this time and effort on a blog, why is the blog not working? Is it not reaching people? It's not the right platform, or is it just not the right strategy? You know, or like another one is like video. If you hate being on video, you're probably not going to get away from it entirely in today's world. You have to be on video a little bit, but let's not build a content plan that 99% relies on video.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Right? Because your brain already doesn't like it. So your brain is going to be like, oh, I have to dry my hair. I'm going to clip my toes. I'm going to clean the baseboards and no videos have been created.
That's been my problem. I've been cutting my hair all these years. And
yeah, so stop avoiding your content because
I got no more hair to cut. So I said, fine, I'll do the video.
Eventually you're going to have no beard and then you're just going to look.
No, never.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just start making the content.
Yeah. Let's make the content. I don't want to look like a thumb. Okay.
That's what my son looked like when he came out.
Where is that guy? Where'd he go?
He got too loud. They removed him. What poop.
Oh. I was going to say, bring him in here.
Oh, yeah. He would not get off camera if given the opportunity.
Anything else you think the world needs to know about Sarah Gemmell, about your business?
No.
No?
Just do better marketing.
Do better.
And you can call me to help you do better marketing.
Well, I appreciate it. Appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
I think I learned a lot.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks.
Do it again sometime.
I'll be here.